Good evening. It is Friday, April 17th, and we are in like day who knows what the hell of the 2020 quarantine. Hopefully, somebody will be seeing this one day. I'm sure I'll post it somewhere. Uh, One of the things that's amazing about the news cycle is that crazy ass things are being made, are being accused of people on all sides. I mean, like really insane things. Like right off the top, we're just still in the post Jeffrey Epstein days. And I mean, if you follow that story, it literally is accusing high ranking people in our government and in our entertainment industry of child sex trafficking. That's a pretty serious accusation. And yet nobody real high, like high level, has gotten accused of this directly with a formal, court situation. But my good golly, there are people saying that all sorts of people. I mean, we all know that they're accusing the Clintons of doing it, and a variety of people in entertainment. Now, the other side of the political side is saying that there's a handful of Republicans, and they're also saying that Donald Trump was involved with it too. I think it's absolutely verifiable that Donald Trump knew Jeffrey Epstein, but I believe there's moments in there where, they say that he was banned from his country club. So, like, unless he was like, I'm going to ban you from my club, but we'll meet around back. I'm sure that's what some of the less intelligent never Trumpers would believe if it was presented well enough. But the problem is, here's the problem. The problem is all of the less intelligent Trump supporters. And I'm not saying that's all of them, because I know that's a big thing on the left. There's a hell of a lot of smart people on both sides of the argument, assuming that the argument only has two sides. That's a whole other chapter. But all those Donald Trump supporters, they're all following this massive, massive conspiracy theory, like en masse, and you've heard of it, I'm sure. It's called Q, or QAnon. And I don't even know the whole story. I'm not a Q scholar. You could say that I'm an early student. And I'm not learning it to say, hey, this is right, because down with, whatever. I'm studying it and watching it and following it just to see what it is so I can understand what it is, know thy enemy kind of thing. Um, and but the thing that cracks me up is there's a lot of really interesting stuff within the inner workings of the Q theory. Stuff that you have to say at least, wow, that's a heck of a coincidence. Like, for example, Q will make a post and it'll have some sort of code language in it, and then within hours or a day, the president will make a tweet with the same code language in it. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure there have been instances like that where there's definitely instances where the president Trump's tweets are shadowing Q's posts in some translatable way. And that's the problem, is that the never Trumpers, the people who don't like Donald Trump, would say that's just all malarkey and coincidence, and you don't have any idea what you're talking about. But the pro-Trumpers are like, no, we follow the logic, trust the code, or what's this? Trust the timeline and things like that. Follow the timeline. Where we go one, we go all. And this Q theory is so freaking wacky. Okay, so get this. Who is Q? There's a significant subset of people that follow the Q theory that believe that the person who is behind Q, the primary person driving all of these posts, is none other than John Kennedy Jr. That's right. The guy who, with his wife and her sister, I believe, crashed in an airplane while flying from, I believe it was an airport in northern Jersey to, like, perhaps Martha's Vineyard or something, and crashed in the waters out there. Yeah, so he's dead. He's been dead since like 1998 or something. Oh, coincidentally, he died at the exact same time that he was actually running against Hillary Clinton in the primary to be the Senate seat that she later won that year. See how weird this freaking story is? I'm not trying to say nothing about nothing, but there's a whole bunch of people that think that John F. Kennedy Jr. is alive and well and is leading the charge in a conspiracy theory. And that is the same John F. Kennedy Jr. who was running for Senate and who did die in a plane crash and who, because of that death, did not win the primary of that Senate race because Hillary Clinton then walked away with the primary of it. And she ended up winning. It's insane. It's Looney Tunes. So, like, when you see things like that, you're like, wow, that's pretty coincidental. But then when you say, like, but he's the guy that's connecting these things, and then you lose all the other people. You lose. Oh, you need to have your head examined. Like, literally, it's fun because, like, I know enough about it to make it sound like I'm just looking into it now, and I'm able to say, like, oh my God, you should see what these people are saying, and I'll drop a little gem, and people will be like, well, those people are, idiots. But then in a completely different space, because I'll just go into like all these different spaces in Facebook, mostly. And in a completely different space, I'll say, as if I believe in Q, and then I'm being told that I need to have my head examined, and that I have mental... So it's amazing how so many people believe this thing, and there so many other people think that the people who believe in the first need to have their head examined. And then conversely, if you study all of the anti-democratic party or anti-deep state theories of the Q side of things, those people are so convinced that they think anyone who would, for example, root for Joe Biden and think that Joe Biden is a good choice need to have their head examined. All this is going on while there's a coronavirus sweeping across the land. It's a really weird time we're living in here. So anyway, but here's the kicker. So I am a conspiracy theorist, and I love this stuff, every square inch of it, But the fact that conspiracy theories like this are now actually being brought up to the top level. See, I kind of graduated from the academy a while ago, but I don't think there's a conspiracy theory out there that I have. Well, that's not true. I see new shit all the time, especially with Q theory. There's all kinds of crazy stuff out there. But let's just say I've heard some theories that push the extreme of every way, shape, and form you could imagine between, time travel and just physics anomalies like shapeshifters and stuff like that. I mean, it's insane, some of the stuff that I've seen that people actually believe. And then there's the other people that believe such a solid state form of what our society is, an inchangeable form. And then for them, it's easy. I just say, well, look at cavemen. Look at us just 150 years ago. Look at us 100 years ago. Like you're looking at these things and you think that they're so permanent, and yet they're gone in the blink of an eye. You've seen the timeline between like the first like protozoa life to today. Well, human life shows up like right here. I mean, honestly, it'd be like right on the other side of my finger. But like, it's crazy. All this, there's like lily pads and shit like that, and then dinosaurs. But dinosaurs are like way up here, to be honest with you. Like, dinosaurs are up here. All this is just fish. And this is just like jellyfish. And then we get like squid and shit like that. And then we get like fish. Who the hell am I kidding? Squid probably came like right around here after the Nibiru came down and landed on our planet, right? So it's just insane to see all these conspiracy theories, because I've been following this stuff. No lies. I was the kid who, when he went to the supermarket to pick up a bag of candy, also grabbed a copy of the Weekly World News. Now get this. Yeah, Bat Boy. And I can't even think of some of the headlines, but Google that stuff. Those headlines are amazing. So I would read every issue because I just loved the stuff. It was hilarious. It made me laugh. But in every one of the issues, there was some real shit in there. And if you were to go back and pull up an issue of that, like, I don't know if the library has that on microfiche or not, but maybe you can find an online source. And you read them, there's some real crazy, the government's out to get you conspiracy stuff. Kind of like that clip from like Barney Miller when they arrested the dude and he's yelling about the Council of Foreign Relations. Check that one out. Be like Barney Miller, Council of Foreign Relations on YouTube. It's just a 2-minute clip. They're arresting this guy, and he's going loco, go loco, like some sort of Alex Jones fan. But it's like 1983. So, like, the formation of the thought has been there for a long time, and it's been pushed out into the media in a certain fashion. But now it's actually, like, damn near mainstream. I mean, what is mainstream anyway? Like, who gets more ratings, if CNN or if like Joe Rogan does a podcast? You know what I mean? Like, who's doing more watchers? So, which is really the mainstream? So it's all crazy. I'm super happy that all these conspiracy theories are getting some light shown on them. I am just watching it and enjoying every single day of it. I'm not enjoying the fact that there are people that I know that actually are getting sick because there is a virus that's sweeping across the country. I do have my skepticism about some of the quality of the data that is being shown about it. And also I have a grave amount of skepticism that the scientific community is not unified around solving the answer to this problem, but instead they're unified in earning a buck. And I do also firmly believe that at least in some way, shape, or form, the buck, as it's known, is going to receive a massive injury that may not be able to rehabilitate from. The dollar, the thing that is creating the struggle. So right now on this side, you got somebody who wants to, wait for a vaccine, and that guy creates all kinds of crazy stuff. And then on this side, you've got this chloroquine, or koi pond, whatever the hell that crap is. And then, of course, Donald Trump is attached to a company that makes chlorofluorocline. Well, guess what? Donald Trump's a multi-millionaire / billionaire, whatever the hell. He's got a lot of money in a lot of places. Certainly, he's got money invested in the drug industry. It just makes sense. He's well diversified. And guess what? It's a generic drug. And meanwhile, there's some meme out there that somebody looked up the price of the pill. It's like $1.50 a pill. You could give every single person a bajillion pills or whatever it is for not that much money. And it's a generic drug, so every single drug manufacturer is going to start pushing this as soon as if it becomes a widely accepted use, which never mind the fact that doctors all around the world are already using it, and all the local drug manufacturers are making it for their community. At any rate, I'm not so sure if that almighty buck, the thing that they're actually still fighting over, is even going to survive this whole mess. And that's the grandest of the conspiracy theories. That's the reason why the Titanic sank, if you know what I mean. All right? Now, one of these theories is going to crack shit open. There's a part of me that really does hope that a whole lot of people are arrested for child endangerment and all the child sex trafficking. I do believe that child sex trafficking occurs, and I don't think that the primary role of that is the Chinese prostitution kind of thing, like the washy wash to get vulgar. And I just believe that it's more of these young children being passed around at parties. And it's just disgusting to think that that's actually occurring, that they're being harvested in mass in various parts, economically depressed parts of the world. And they're also being harvested here in the United States through kidnapping and various other foster families and things like that. Again, not to disrespect anyone who's a foster family. I personally have I got to spend some time with one foster family when I was in my teen years. It was the girl, friend of mine. She was a natural parent of her mom and dad. I forget whether she had any natural siblings, but my good golly, when you went to that house, it was like Little Orphan Annie. There were honestly, it wasn't like that, but there was about I think they had about like 4 or 5 children, foster children, in the house, and they were just a wonderful gang of little kids, so they're decent people. But man, oh man, I think there's some foster groups out there. A lot of missing children in that world too. So look, I'm rambling. You're scrambling.